I saw this fucking article talking about how theft in grocery stores has gone through the roof and
Wasn't
shit.
me.
Yeah, and it's like it was almost like it was like a negative take on it. They're like, because this is driving up prices even more, blah blah blah. And it's like, who can fucking afford? Like that's what self checkouts are for. And I don't like the way that they look at you in self checkouts. They're always watching. They have a keen eye. Welcome back to Show Me Yours podcast. I'm Jackie Agnew.
I'm Jonny DeVito.
And I'm Ty Boissonneau.
Goddamn right you are.
How we feeling, gang?
Feeling great.
Oh,
feeling great. It is a sunny day in Vancouver finally. You know,
Finally.
we're feeling like we're a little bit out of the seasonal depression era. I'm happy about it. I got two pillows behind my back to appear that I'm sitting upright.
Yeah, that's a sinking
that's
couch.
nice.
That is
To
it.
say
It
that
is.
is an indica couch.
Oh yeah, you will know it.
Oh yeah, you think our couch fucking sucks.
Yes, it does.
My fucking back. Last night I do have lower back problems, but for whatever reason, fucking yesterday it was killing me in that couch. Just
Oh,
like,
yeah.
oh my god.
Also a
buddy.
little under the weather, so we didn't really do a whole lot. So when you watch like
Damn, I
all of Lord of the
fucking-
Rings and a couple Survivor episodes and stuff,
Polish
you
off
realize,
season 23. I mean,
Yeah.
you're spending a lot of time on the couch there. Yeah.
And you know what I mean? That's
That
not
lumbar.
good for anybody.
Yeah.
they call it.
Lumbar
Lower lumbar.
is aching, but we don't have that problem today. We don't
No.
have that problem
This
today.
is
You know why? 'Cause we're on
fantastic.
Ty's couch.
I'm having technical difficulties.
What you need to do.
I'm doing the thing that you said to do.
Oh, I missed something. Clearly, I missed a
It's
conversation.
loosened. I have it positioned.
Okay.
And I'm tightening it.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and then what's happening? And it keeps falling. So
Yeah.
what you need to do
Here we go.
is tighten it. Is that tighten it to the place that it falls is at your face.
But that's what
you're
I...
compensating. I see what
Yes,
you
yes. You want
See,
to just tilt it
Jackie,
back?
this is where you were mistaken. This is not a fix to the problem that you have.
No.
This is really just,
Yeah.
we're going to deal with it.
100%. Right? I don't fix anything. I get it to the point where it's gonna
That's some
break
plumber
again.
shit. I don't
Yeah.
fix anything.
These
yeah.
are moving parts. They're gonna break again, right? So like, I don't want to work myself out of a job. So at that point, you know what I mean. Right? If I fixed everything,
That is an hourly man. right there.
absolutely. Right? If you fix everything to the point that it's done, then you're never gonna like sacrifice all opportunity for repeat business.
Ain't no money in the cure.
100%.
Got it.
Exactly. We'll
Gotcha.
keep them sick. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I'm Johnny Pfizer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, while we got you here, why don't you hit that like button, subscribe,
Yeah.
follow us on Instagram, Facebook,
All the platforms.
TikTok. Share us on your stories, tag us, leave a 5-star review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Tell your friends, tell your family,
Yes.
tell your local barber.
Dude,
Yeah.
tell barbers.
Yeah.
Number one, I mean, that's where you go for the information, right?
Exactly.
If you're on a safari, you know what I mean? Say you're going like free diving, you're someplace. If you're being guided on any kind of tour, tell that person. But really, like a barber is your tour guide, through beauty and through life and through happiness. You know what I
That's
mean,
true.
right? You got to look good to feel good.
Yeah.
So tell them about the pod.
I need a haircut. I get it, okay? I got that winter long going
yeah,
on.
man. You're
That
usually
winter
a
long.
lot more fly than this, Ty. What's going on with the haircut?
It's kind of got its thing going on now, though. I like
Okay.
how it's going like this. Before
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
just like hiding it.
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
I don't take a toque off from from November to April 20th is like when
Yeah.
it gets nice.
I'm with you.
Right.
I'm with you.
And yeah, the toque doesn't come off. I'm too cold.
No reason
So
for
I'm like,
fate.
why am I gonna go get a $50 haircut every fucking?
Oh man.
Significant savings through the winter. I actually just went and got one, and I found a new barber that I'm pretty happy with.
It's a hard thing to do.
Oh,
as
my
I know a lot of the times the dudes get like, oh, you just go in and it's like it's only $25 for you. It's like whatever. It's like
Nope.
no, it's way more expensive now because now there's always like there's a lot of like.
You got to pay for the hand tattoos on these guys.
When I read that, I was like, these fucking tattooed losers.
100%, man.
My hair.
I don't know what their deal is, but sometimes when I get a bad haircut, I'll switch establishment completely. Right? This time, what I did
yeah.
do, because I trust the place, but it's been there for so long that I think during certain hours, like the old timers will still be in there. And
Is that what you're looking for or no?
Well, it used to be, but last time that I was in there, I was having this conversation with an old Italian guy and nice dude. And then my Uncle Robert comes in. And, so my family's been in East Van for a long time. You're going to bump into Uncle Robert every now and then. And we just come off tour. Yep. And, Bobby's a beauty. He's a lawyer. Shout out Rob. If you ever need a problem, you know what I mean? Call somebody else because we can't afford that guy. Anyway, I start talking to him about the summer and how everything's been, right? And we had a great summer. So I'm filling him in on tour, filling him in all this cool shit. And then I ask him how his summer is going. And he looks me dead in the eye and he goes, well, Lisa's mom died. You know what I mean? So that's my auntie. And then I'm getting a haircut by an Italian guy who at the beginning was like, I'm running a nice local Italian establishment. Families are coming in here. This is a family shop. This is awesome. Who's this fucking kid that didn't know that his great aunt died?
Oh, no.
You know what I mean?
This fucking piece of shit doesn't even know his aunt died.
100%, right? So I immediately felt the tone shift from like this guy. And then we all started talking.
You're mid-haircut?
Mid-haircut.
Oh,
and then,
no.
And then, you don't want to be mid-haircut.
Is that why he gave you that tiny mustache the other week?
He was playing a lot of games with me. And the problem is that you can't start a conversation mid-haircut, right? Because then it starts to like kind of drag on. And before I know what's going on, I'm looking in the mirror and he's just gone too far and doesn't care to ask.
Oh, no.
Right?
No,
like we had a contract.
No, you didn't care to ask. You didn't care to ask about how your aunt was doing.
I was, well, I mean,
why
exactly, I was really embarrassed.
Why would you give a fuck about your fade, sir?
I had to like kind of sit there and talk my way out of the embarrassment. And then before I realized that I had a bad haircut to go with. So then it took a long time because you're kind of letting it grow back and whatnot, right? So like I definitely rock that like shitty hockey hair out of the back of the hat kind of look, right? And it's not good for me. You got a little curl, a little bit of body to your hair. Right, and I'm okay.
A lot of body, a lot of volume.
Yeah,
in this. I got that. I got my grandpa's hair.
Oh yeah, no, I go straight down like an emo cover, like like something. My hair's
and it's like I've always wanted that.
It's a look.
And you
that
wanted
I've always,
the curls.
100%, 100%. I always wanted
Grass
a little body.
is always greener.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So tell that fucking barber about the show.
I never pay for haircuts. Like the only time I get an actual haircut is if I go to visit my mom and I get there and she's like, so I got you a hair appointment and like I'm paying for it or whatever because because it's so fucking expensive.
It's insane.
Yeah.
It's at least $100 for me to get my hair cut. At least.
Sorry, how much?
100.
That's like you're going to Magic Cuts.
Yeah. And so
as much as like I say that it's like like guys' haircuts are definitely not as like cheap as they used to be by any means, but it's still like the comparison is still like no.
Oh yeah, so fucking ridiculous.
It's like always like
so I just cut my own hair.
15 and then you just like you leave them the 20. You always tip your barber kind of thing, right? But now the barber tip is like fuck.
I just learned how to cut my own hair, which I think is fine. It definitely doesn't look as good as it would if I got it professionally cut. But I'm not gonna fucking shell out $100 like every fucking 6 months.
It's not in the budget.
It's not in the budget. Not make the budget this year.
Haircuts aren't in the budget.
I'm not doing it. That's what I'm not doing for fucking December. Are you kidding me?
Hydro is hardly in the budget.
If we don't pay for the lights, then we won't have to look at the bad haircut. So it
I see.
But you know what? The biggest mistake, not the biggest mistake, because it's brought a lot of joy, is when we moved into this our place last year and we decided to get cable again, which I mean is fantastic, cool. But it's so fucking expensive, and now we're so like so connected to it, like we can't not have it now. But it's so much money.
That crack, man.
It drives me crazy because like you think that you could just get away from it, but like it's nice to like background noise that I'm not.
Hold on,
necessarily,
like basic cable,
dude. It's the best.
That's how we get the Food Network. That's how we watch
Discovery Channel, all that shit. Man.
Yeah, Discovery Channel.
Bro, have you ever seen Moonshiners?
Would you get you an HDMI cord and make this happen?
We have
we have HDMI cords.
We could probably do it. No, Ty, you're absolutely right. Okay, we
but
could be saving
multiple dollars. But it's just the convenience. It's being
I'm not trying to have some sort of intervention here, but you guys are deep.
It's being able to like record shit on PVR. It's all of the shit. Like I know all the workarounds because I have never. Ever since moving out of
the PVR,
my house.
That's the game changer.
The PVR,
it's not like you're, in my head, and you're still like, I'm like, oh, do you guys like race home to watch?
No.
No. Oh, sorry, no. With PVR.
No, we don't know the times that anything's on. But I've never paid for cable ever since I moved out of my parents' house. But now, but that was always like a treat, like going home and being like, oh fuck, there's cable, like we can watch the hockey game, we can watch, you
Yes.
know, late night or whatever. Though we don't even get the channels that any of the late night shows are on.
Yeah, it's kind of a bummer.
But that's the other thing. So you get like the basic package, but then you only have a certain amount of channels that you can choose from, and you can add on channels, but each of those channels is like an extra $5.
I got a guy. You need to talk. I got a guy that you guys need to talk to. He'll set you right up.
Is his name Ravi?
Is his name Ravi Cannon?
Okay, so is there something about because I was talking to a guy that I work
might
with.
start with an R and end with Avicanna.
There's a guy that I work with, and he's also from the Brown persuasion, and I was explaining this like same kind of thing.
He looked at you like you were fucking crazy, right? He's like,
I
"How
was
do you
fucking
have this
idiot." He
problem?"
goes, I'll get you a box, and then it's the same thing that Ravi said to me, and I'm like, why does like every Brown guy that I know is he just capable of like getting a box, but all of them say that there's this device or whatever that we can get that will mitigate all these problems.
That may or may not be set up in this very studio as we speak.
Well,
Okay.
we'll talk to Ravi about this box.
Yeah, I'll give you a little tutorial over here.
Well, I was going to see him snipe a Royal Rumble's on, so he's not going to be at the show this evening. He's going to be at the house.
Yeah, we're filling in for Ravi.
Yeah.
Because
On the coolest night ever when I want to be hanging
Because
out with him.
he's
So I wanna go
yeah,
watch
he
Before
was
Royal
like,
watching-
you should come over. We're like, we're filling in for you at your fucking show.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm making a lot of excuses to try to get out of the late, so I don't know. We'll see. I'm trying to be the nice guy. Like, you don't have to come to the early so that I can bail on the late to go watch Royal Rumble, but I think it's going to be well over by the time the early show is finished. But,
Yeah.
you know, what are you going to do? Such is life, right? These are the ways,
These are the trials and tribulations that we're facing right now.
Honestly, not bad problems to have, right? If these are
Yeah.
the worst things that are happening in our lives, and I think, you know what I mean, that we're going to be okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Who's not okay right now? I think if we want to transition into a little story that I think might have
Well, okay, so I think we'll approach it from this angle because there's a whole bunch of we can attack this from different angles here, and so I'm gonna pitch it this way. And then you
because
can,
I think
you
I don't
can
know.
come in and be shitty about it.
Okay. You know where I'm going with it.
Oh, great. I love being a referee. This is dope. This is going to be gay. Ding, ding, ding. Let's fucking.
I really don't think this is positive as she's going to paint it, so let's hear her side of the story.
So a couple is giving away 150 kilos of onions as party favors at their wedding. So a newlywed couple treated guests to expensive giveaways during their wedding reception in Tagaytay City on Tuesday, January 24th. This is a recent story. Their unusual party favors, bags of onions. Videos and photos taken by the wedding coordinator show the couple, Jason and Lorelai, standing by crates and baskets of red onions, free for their guests to take home. Family, oh, this is a different language.
I was reading the article earlier and I'm like, wow.
Are you just really?
I'm bad at reading and everything, but Jesus.
So I think basically the explanation is the bride's family owns like an onion business, and so they are giving away these onions, and I think that this is a amazing thing to do for your guests because the price of groceries is through the roof right now.
Okay.
Like I'm sure our guests are feeling it. We're certainly feeling it. That being said, bags of onions are the one thing that's still kind of affordable, at least where we're shopping, but the prices are going up. You know,
It's
a bag.
insane how much food is costing right
It's
now.
wild.
I've
It's
never.
insane.
You know when anytime people do the inflation thing and they're
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, it's inflation. Like that's been said a couple times throughout my life.
Yeah.
And I've always been like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah.
Chocolate bars are $1. We're good to go.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly.
This is crazy, guys.
Chocolate bars are no longer $1.
Yeah.
It's not even $1.50 anymore. This is $1.75 for a goddamn
Yeah,
O'Hare.
I swear to God, every fucking time I go to the grocery store, things are more fucking expensive. Like I don't even, if I go alone, like if we do like a grocery shop together, we'll get like a grocery cart and it's like, okay, this is gonna be, which we haven't even done in God knows how long
God,
because who can afford to do that? That's like fucking.
No, shout out Julie for hitting us with some
Yeah,
Costco
for
runs.
Christmas, my
Oh,
mom
love
like
it. Yeah. You
for
gotta
Christmas,
get
my
that card.
mom did a Costco shop for us, and she got us a Costco membership, which is good. And there's
shit.
and
cool.
there's
You
there
guys
are
still allow me to hang out with you? That's
Yeah,
so cool.
Yeah, I know we're getting to that level,
so
Tad.
fucking cool.
and there are other options around. Like I used to be so fucking cost conscious. When I was like living alone, I would basically dedicate my whole day to like doing groceries and going, and I'm lucky in that I have a car, but you know, I would drive to Sunrise Market, get all of my produce and shit there because it's so much cheaper.
It is so much cheaper.
Yeah, and I knew every store, like the cheapest, where like cans of beans or whatever was cheapest, and where like rice was cheapest and shit.
Fuck, we're poor.
Yeah, but that was
No,
I don't
that's how
even
you gotta
do
fucking
it.
roll, though, dude.
Exactly,
Like,
that's what you got to do, and we stopped. It's just so much easier just to go. Is that a feather?
Yep, that's a feather. It's
That
pretty
must
fucking
be-
pretty scary.
I think that's probably from a creature that
Yep.
Let's see.
was butchered here.
Probably popsicle.
My popsicle.
That's from a
Oh,
pillow?
it's from a pillow.
Very cool.
Oh, that's
Very
It's the stuffing inside of the.
All right.
I've never
We're
seen
killing
a
birds to
colored
stay
feather inside of a pillow.
Look, that one does. Those two definitely
cool.
do.
That's fancy.
Listen, worms aren't falling from the sky, all right?
Yeah.
close. Guys, we're gonna be fine.
But
It's
but
also tough. Sorry, it's tough to defend this because after Sahib was here, we were just chilling, and then my cat ran in with a dead bird in its mouth.
Yeah.
Not a dead bird, a very live bird.
A live bird.
Flapping
That's
around.
why I assumed there was no judgment. I just assumed that this was like, you know, it's like a situation where Pops runs in and there's like a kerfuffle and
A big time
feathers are
kerfuffle.
flying, you know.
So, like, knock on
Yeah.
wood, he has not done that in a minute now, but, like, he always does this weird meow when he has an item or an animal in his mouth. He does this weird meow. So when I hear his cat door go and I hear a meow and I start freaking out right away. And I, like, run up to him and he's got nothing and he looks at me like,
He's
fuck,
like,
dude.
what are you doing?
Psych.
There was one time after a podcast too when we came out here and there was just like a dead mouse like
You
lying
look right
over there.
Right here. You're like, oh, there's a dead mouse right there. I'm like, cool.
But anyways, so the way that I see this story is that they're saving their guests a couple bucks because, you know, weddings are expensive. Even as a guest, you know, we're going to a wedding of my friends in June in Ottawa. So that involves plane tickets. I'm in the wedding party, so I need to get a dress. I need to do like
What are you
hair and
doing?
makeup.
You're not the honor, are you?
No, I'm just
Thank
a
Christ.
bridesmaid. But I need to like hair and makeup because there's going to be a fucking million pictures taken, like all of that shit. And so to give back to your guests, if we got a fucking bag of onions after this wedding, I would be so excited.
It would be definitely sweet,
Yeah.
but in this particular point of the world right now, in this particular instance right here, onions specifically are skyrocketing through the roof right now, and people are actually like protesting, and there's actually civil unrest in particular the Philippines, based on like specifically because of onions. And in January 11th and 27th were the last times that the government was allowing onions to actually even be imported. So they're on the heels right now, or sorry, I'm just coming up on the harvest season and stuff. So it's like a staple in the diet right now, and they're becoming so expensive that like a kilo of onions is actually more expensive than like chicken and meat and stuff like that, right?
Wow.
So it's like, yeah, it's like a
It's crazy
it's
when
a
that
huge
shit
thing
happens
right now.
Here's
with
the ultimate.
produce.
Sorry?
It's crazy when that shit happens with produce because there's been like times where like cauliflower was insanely expensive. And shit.
Or like limes when the cartel had all that fucking
Oh,
they had like
yeah.
that lime, the
Well, like, that's
stronghold
right
on
now,
the lime.
fucking-
It always
Yeah.
comes down to pieces of shit, right? Because they're putting this on Putin, according to
All goes
news
back to
source here,
Putin.
right? Why are onions so expensive? Food prices across the world have soared on the back of Russia's invasion of the Ukraine, which began February 2022, which disrupted supply chains, global warming, and worsening climate crisis that have disrupted crop harvest seasons have also compounded to the issue. Lawmakers have also alleged potential overpricing and price manipulation of onions in the Philippines. On January 4th, blah, 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 this like whole party, the ACT teachers, okay, there's a lot of...
You know what I mean, don't get me wrong, Putin, bad guy, and like,
Okay, this is ought to be good.
Okay.
like we can all agree, and what's going on,
But-
and what's going on in the Ukraine is horrific, and we can all agree that that's a shitty situation.
Sure.
But do we think that is being used as a scapegoat for all of these other problems of
No.
why all of a sudden shit is so expensive? Like all of a sudden the gas is because of the Ukraine, or groceries is because of the Ukraine.
I think any opportunity that like a business has to make more money, then they will. So like I don't understand why Russia going to war is making bacon more expensive when it's like
exactly,
farmed
that's
and
what I'm
raised
saying.
here and stuff like that. I don't
Yeah.
know if we're sending like pork rations to Ukrainian fighters and stuff like that, right? So like I
Yeah.
really don't see like an actual price breakdown and why each individual item is so through the roof. It doesn't make any sense to me, but it also like it feels like an opportunity to steal. Right. So
Oh,
when
yeah,
you're-
we
when you
support
grew up like a
stealing,
piece
for
of
sure.
shit or whatever, like you kind of you know that you like you're a kleptomaniac, so you want to steal everything that you can, but then once you get in trouble, you realize that you have to kind of pick and choose your spots, right? So it's like weird when you see like corporations kind of doing it like on the back of like always of like a crisis, right? With COVID being a huge one or whatever, and then it's and then like a war and everything.
It's
like
weird
that.
when it's a war that's not like we're not in it really,
Yes.
or like whatever that, because
Yeah.
like there was a time in our history and this area of the world where it's like, yeah, everything goes towards the war effort.
Yeah.
100%.
It's fucking
Yeah.
1939,
Yeah,
Our
and
fucking-
every medal
Yeah.
is going towards
But,
that.
like,
Everyone's quitting their
absolutely.
jobs.
And
to
our
fucking-
like the Western world has very clearly decided to not get involved, and so then why then is everything still
Why is $8 pack of bacon?
Exactly,
It's
yeah.
crazy
Tell me
when
that,
it is
Putin.
shit that is like local like that, and it's like we are so accustomed to like. Cause I have a whole bit about this where it's like there's these stores like Nada and these
Yeah,
other ones
yeah.
that are like these like. It's like Sunrise is like the same thing. It's
Basically,
like, it's like
yeah.
a leftover grocery store. It's not
yeah.
leftover.
Yeah,
It's just like the
Yeah.
quality that like level and like just like optically of how produce looks in a
Oh,
grocery
yeah.
store is insane.
Yep.
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
the,
you have
the
to be okay
qualifications,
with
like, that
picking
have to be
through
like
some,
you're allowed
some
to be on the
shit.
floor.
People pick the round apple rather than the misshapen one.
Yeah,
right?
and
Like,
it's
all that
Yeah.
stuff.
no different at all like that. And it's like, yeah, this, I think if
Yeah.
people knew like how like fruit vegetables actually fucking looked, but it's
Yeah.
like that's not gonna happen here because I want a fucking banana and it's December in Canada and I could go buy
Well,
bananas.
Yeah,
That's insane.
Yeah,
but it's
exactly.
crazy that it's like gotten to the point where it is such a big business now to sell food that is rejected or is like almost gone bad and shit. Like that's such a huge thing, especially in Vancouver right now. It's 'cause
Yeah.
no one can fucking afford anything. I saw this fucking article talking about how theft in grocery stores has gone through the roof and
Wasn't
shit.
me.
Yeah, and it's like it was like a negative take on it. They're like, oh, because this is driving up prices even more, blah blah blah. And it's like, who can fucking afford? Like that's what self checkouts are for. And I don't like the way that they look at you in self checkouts. They're always watching. They have a keen eye. You
Yeah,
know?
exactly.
They're
And-
getting more like now, ever since things have gotten more expensive, at fucking Superstore, they have like 3 people standing there, arms crossed, fucking looking
You
all
know what I
around
fucking
at
hate
everyone.
about the self checkout? Like I've had to cave with it because I'm like I fought it for so long.
Yeah.
I'm just like I fucking hate this.
Yeah.
I'm paying a premium for a reason,
Totally.
for like a
Right.
service. Part of why shit is so expensive at a store is they
Right.
bag it up for you. And in my grandma's day, they'd bring it to your fucking car.
Yeah.
and
Right.
shit like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
that
yeah.
was a thing, right?
Yeah.
They'd hire local kids.
Yeah,
to
absolutely.
Yeah.
I was
with the
one of
bag.
them.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
fucking dude.
Yeah.
Where I worked at a Zellers on a grocery store, but you bet your ass, man, I was moving shit to people's vehicles.
Yeah.
Like, and
Yeah.
it wasn't
But
that long.
that's not a thing. Have you seen the social lines?
No.
Oh my god,
no.
they've got
Oh, the slow checkout. Yeah, I've heard of this.
On purpose.
Scandinavia or something like that.
on purpose. Okay.
Do they talk
On
to you
purpose.
more?
It's
Yeah, it's for
exactly
old
what it's for. It's
people,
for like
yeah.
lonely old
Oh,
people.
that's so sad.
Yeah.
But get fucked. Like,
Sounds
how can
horrible.
you get behind that even as a
Yeah.
business owner? I'm like, oh wait a minute.
Yeah.
We can streamline this, but we're like, there's people in
Yeah.
line waiting to pay for shit.
Yeah.
I think in like a Denmark society or Sweden or whatever they're taking place, like they just have like a different way of looking at the world and stuff. So like if you're like in a place where like
I can't handle it.
You're not getting paid minimum
Can't handle
wage
it.
to work at that.
Yeah.
grocery
Tell you where
store,
I
you're
went
actually
the other
getting
day,
paid.
which I forget about every now and then. TNT Market.
okay.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. We got one
TNT
right close
is
to
the
us.
greatest
Love it.
grocery store there is. It's gonna take you a little while.
Oh yeah.
Because everything
Nobody's
in
gonna
English,
help you.
and nobody's gonna help you. But everything in English is like kind of small printer, but it's like whatever. You kind of get to know where shit is.
Yep.
It's unbelievable. No one gives a flying fuck. People are hitting carts together,
Dude, it's
and no
wild
one's
West
like coughing at each other. It's just like, no, like we're all here getting groceries. It smells like dead fish a little bit.
100%.
Let's
Yeah.
fucking go.
100%.
See,
And
I
they're
don't
always kind of
mind-
looking at us funny because we're the
Of
only
course,
guys.
they're
in
like,
there.
oh,
Yeah,
well,
yeah,
look at this
only-
while he's
yeah,
trying to
exactly.
fucking navigate through this place. Be like, no, I'm gonna do it. It's a fun mission. It's always a great time.
Totally. And a guy like
And
you,
it's
like, they have-
pretty
they have
cheap.
cooler
It's
mushrooms
pretty
and stuff.
goddamn cheap.
It's pretty. I
Absolutely.
don't mind TNT, but they don't have a lot of stuff for me there.
yeah,
It's
fair enough.
mostly like
Yeah,
meat and
they're
fish
meat
products.
Yeah,
games
it's a lot of fish product
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely whenever I go through the self checkout, like fucking
Yeah.
anything, anything the produce that you have to type in, everything just becomes cilantro because that's like fucking
Yeah.
75 cents for a
Yep.
bushel or whatever. That's the only fucking way. I'm not doing. And first of all, I don't feel bad. Like Superstore's doing just fine.
Oh, yeah.
They're gonna throw half that shit out.
Yeah, I go to the bulk
Exactly,
section.
yeah.
I find what the cheapest thing is. So if it's like peanuts or something like that, then I mean, if a couple ribeye steaks get rung into peanuts, then hey, what are you gonna do?
So be
It's
it.
an easy, it's an easy mix-up.
It is an
Yeah,
easy
it's
Peanuts
easy-
and
Oh,
ribeye.
significant savings.
I
let me
would
tell you.
because fucking avocados are so expensive,
Oh
and
my
I
God.
quite enjoy avocados. So
Yeah.
I'll get like fucking 5. And what you do, you put in the code, and then it asks you how many.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm gonna just say
So,
1.
yeah.
Yeah. Why would I ever tell the truth about that?
Yeah,
That makes
exactly.
no
It's
fucking
ridiculous.
sense. Yeah.
And
I like the people who wait outside, like who check the item, or they like at Costco when they give you the
Oh
whole
yeah,
check.
and they don't even look.
Who are
though,
these?
yeah.
Who are these hooked on phonics readers that
Yeah.
are just could scan an entire wallpaper length
Right.
of fucking
And they just
items
get the
and be like,
highlighter. They're like, oh yeah.
yeah, you're
Yeah,
good.
they get the they just do the highlighter
yeah,
and go like,
give
yeah.
sure.
They
I think what
started
they're looking for is like your tail and your eyes, right? Because if you're walking up
Yeah.
to them a little squirrely or whatever, then they might, might pause and stop. right?
You've never tried to buy
Yeah.
booze underage before.
Oh,
Get
yeah.
fucked,
Walk up
buddy.
to them
I'm
stone faced and
35 now. I got
Yeah.
this.
Oh,
bet your
I
ass, buddy.
sometimes I'll get I used to get ID'd at the liquor store every single fucking time, but the last like 2 years it's kind of stopped, which I don't know what that says, but
I think we're
I
going to the
finally-
same liquor store every day
yeah.
is what that says. They know
true,
us over there.
true. But every once in a while I'll get ID'd, and it happened at our liquor store the other day, and I was so like kerfuffled about it that everything, the way that I was acting seemed like I
you
was
were-
100% lying, you know. And then I just got so in my head that I couldn't like
That's the best.
converse like a normal human.
Jackie, you are
It's like
20.
you're talking to a cop.
20.
28.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
But have you ever, because like,
Yeah,
if
it's
you
like
ever been in a
cop-
situation where if you like, if a police officer ever comes like even in my like near vicinity, my initial reaction is to always lie to that person, or to like, because I'm always just from my past or whatever, there's like something that I'm always hiding from them, or I don't want to talk to them in any sense of the word or whatever, because any conversation or whatever could lead to either me or my the people that I love getting fucked over, right? So
Right.
every time I'm having a conversation, even in my adult life now, where I haven't done anything fucking illegal in a very long time, and I have no reason why I should feel uncomfortable around a police officer.
Save for the
Coming-
T-bone steaks.
I was gonna say, coming from old peanut ribeye over here.
I mean,
I haven't done anything. I'm just
I'm
openly
stealing to
admitted.
fucking feed my fucking family. I'm sorry. Oh my God, you're absolutely right.
Sorry, I get emotional when to talk about peanuts.
I was just thinking about that because, like, if you really like parcel it out, like, I mean, I'm still doing illegal shit all the time, but like petty crime.
But yeah,
you know what I mean? compared
everyone's
to-
doing it.
You know what I mean? I've turned it into.
Everyone's doing it. Everyone's doing it.
Oh, we're awful. We just exposed ourselves.
But it's the only way you can fucking get by. Like
Mob
it's
laws most
so
wanted.
so fucking ridiculous. I know everyone's feeling it, but particularly in BC and Vancouver. It's
Oh
just,
yeah, if you're a fucking
yeah.
fan of this show, then I'm sure like there's a few listeners out there that know the exactly what we're talking about. And if you don't, then give it a shot. Save yourself a couple bucks.
It's crazy to go spend like $50, $75 and be like, I got like like a bit of cheese,
Yep.
some
yeah.
eggs,
Yeah.
Well,
and fucking
yeah.
I don't know, a couple vegetables. That's
Well,
like,
that's the thing is that
Absolutely.
when I'll go grocery shopping alone just to kind of like buy a few things to kind of I don't know make a few meals or whatever. I'll just go and just have like a hand like basket thing, and it won't even be filled up, and it'll be like fucking $100.
oh yeah, easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so fucking crazy. and they don't even give you bags anymore.
That's
Like,
the worst. I can't.
Yeah.
Like I always have my backpack with me, and it's like I don't fucking.
I mean, I always have
Your backpack ain't
reusable
enough.
bags.
You think I
want
want to put onions in my backpack?
Oh, well, we
Yeah.
always have bags in the car, and I'll fucking forget them in the car, and now I'm walking in the car with handfuls of shit or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like it's the same shit. Though I heard that they're gonna reverse this, but it's in Vancouver how we have to pay a fee for fast food for cups and for bags now, and how that's like for bags it's fucking ridiculous. Like the paper bags, we have to pay a 25-cent fee for paper bags. But the fucking cups, it's like you don't have an option if you're going through a drive-through. They're not going to be like, oh, do you want a cup for your drink? Like, you don't even have a fucking...
No.
Yeah.
This fountain pop.
Just fucking shoot it right in
Give me
here.
a medium hot down the pipe. Let's go.
Yeah.
Spicy Sprite.
It's crazy.
It drives me fucking nuts too because they're also like kind of like I don't know understanding or you can tell that they think it's dumb too because I'll go through a drive-through get like maybe there's like 5 items or something like that and I'll say no bag and then it comes in a bag. Because even they're not going to walk from the counter and fucking hand you one piece at a fucking time, right?
Yeah,
like, it's ridiculous.
so
And give me a
fucking
napkin. Come on.
Yeah, you have to ask for napkins now. Also, when like even fucking McDonald's is expensive now. Like we'll go through and I like never like I don't get
my
anything.
A&W order is like $30.
is-
But like
yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's easy
Through the
$30.
fucking roof.
Yeah. A&W, but A&W is the
legit good.
Oh, yeah.
It is
the
worth every
higher-
goddamn
yeah,
penny.
It's the
I'll
superior-
steal so many ribeyes
just
to
fund
save that money so I can go to
A&W.
A&W.
Oh,
Save
man.
that dumb money.
Yeah.
See the bear
Oh,
taste
might
the
have
food.
to go through A&W. after
Shout out
the
to
show
Arash
tonight.
and Archie for giving me an A&W card.
Oh,
Yeah, he
Oh,
got me. It was
shit.
for Christmas. He got me he sent me a little like gift card for A&W. And I was like, dude,
That's fucking
oh, it was a
dope.
lifesaver
man,
one
Arash
night after
fucking rules.
HOC.
I like A&W too, Arash.
Yeah, what's up?
Yeah.
It's
were
the
left off
only
the gift-
thing that
the gift
has.
list.
It's the only fast food chain that has like a
Really good veggie burger.
really
That's
yeah,
vegan.
quality vegan options. McDonald's has nothing.
That's
and like,
crazy.
Yeah,
and
It's
so
crazy
good.
that they
Yeah.
cave to the salad and all that shit and
Yeah.
the breakfast all day and all that, but they still don't have
these
that
also
option.
throw a fucking Beyond Burger on their grill.
That's the
Wow.
closest thing
Yeah.
too. Last night, like after Lord of the Rings, we were watching them so fucking stoned, and it's like time to get a McFlurry now. This is happening. It's a couple blocks away, right? And a large fry. There's nothing.
There's a
there to
DQ
get,
by here. I
you know,
need to start going to more.
There's a DQ kind of but it's like all the way down on Hastings, a little bit further away, but also a little bit more pricey when I get in there because then I'm fucking with baskets of onion rings and all that shit.
Yeah.
Oh man, fast food rules. But again, through the fucking roof.
It's
man.
crazy.
Yeah,
Damn.
even we'll go through like McDonald's to get Jonny like food or whatever, and just for like a burger and fries and a Sprite, it's like fucking $15.
Out of
Like,
control.
dude, this is fucking McDonald's.
Yeah, man. I
Like,
don't understand
yeah.
it. Like, is it inflation? Is it the way the world is going in? Because cost of living is through the roof, right? My wage is surprisingly the same.
Well, that's the thing.
I was
Yeah.
literally like the other day, like, what's crazy? Like, everything goes up other than what
Yeah.
you get fucking paid.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it does, but it's like not by the same margins of like, you know what I mean? Like,
It
oh,
doesn't
or they'll
go
always
up the
raise
way-
minimum wage. It's like, well, I haven't made that since I was fucking 16.
Yeah,
so.
exactly.
Yeah,
Raise
Cool
minimum
story.
wage.
Minimum wage
Awesome. Raise
still
my
isn't.
wage.
Yeah. Minimum wage still isn't even $20 in BC.
And then if you're a server, it's less.
it's way less.
Right?
Yeah.
crazy. 'Cause it's
Especially
like-
because people are tipping less now too.
Mhm.
Like people don't want to fucking tip.
And
anymore.
the art of I'll say the fucking art, like that whole industry is just different now.
yeah.
Servers
Oh,
are horrible
yeah.
now.
When
They're
you see people
fucking
that are
so
like-
bad.
like-
It's
like
insane how
career-
shitty
Yeah.
service
Yeah.
is.
When you see like career servers and bartenders or whatever, they're still good at their job. You're like, holy fuck, it's night and day. You know what
Yeah.
I mean, right?
Yeah, big time.
Somebody that actually kind of gives a shit. But if kind of makes sense though, because when I was a kid, I was told like fucking do something, go to get your shit together or whatever, because you don't want to be flipping burgers, right? Now there's no people.
No, I wanna be eating burgers.
Fucking, yeah, exactly.
Ice cold
Oh.
bagels.
So I think what these people are doing is noble.
I think it's
Giving out
incredibly noble,
Produce
yes.
at their thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely. I don't think it's funny. I think. There's
I mean, I wish their family had a cooler business.
Yeah,
I'll be honest with you.
but
You know what I mean?
hey.
If they had a chocolate business or something like that, it'd be great. But
Yeah,
it's like they
stinky
get,
house
what
too.
kind of
Yeah.
onions too are we talking?
Red
like
onions.
Red onions?
Red
Yeah.
onions.
But,
yeah.
and they're all
You say
raw, too.
blooming onions?
Yeah, I was gonna say they're not blooming them. They're not pickling them. They're not.
crates
It's
of
the
blooming
Earls
onions.
family.
Yeah, exactly.
Earls is just giving
Yeah.
out blooming onions.
TGI, fuck yeah, Friday.
blooming onions.
Blooming onions. That's
This
like
wedding was
when
in 2010.
fucking Survivor through the years. You see their different sponsors they
Yeah,
had
oh,
at
yeah.
different times. But the one thing that has remained consistent is that whenever it's a restaurant sponsor and they're like, the reward is like, whoever Outback Steakhouse or whoever is gonna, you're gonna have a whole feast on them.
Yeah.
All of the restaurants that they're sponsored by, they always have blooming onions on the menu.
Gotta
Yeah.
love it. You gotta, yeah. That was just such a fucking staple for so long. Like,
Yeah.
what an impressive.
I've never worked at like a restaurant. I've eaten many of them, and I've tried to make them in restaurants that I've worked in, and they've never turned out well.
I've made them a couple times, like at home, and stuff like that. And they've
Yeah?
worked out, but
Okay.
it is one of those like novelty kind of.
Oh, for
Yeah,
sure.
you're
You
not
eat
gonna do
five
But
that, like,
restaurants
on a
love it because
Wednesday
it's
night.
fucking cheap, dude. It's
Totally.
so cheap to
Fucking
make.
onion.
It's like
Yeah.
the aioli that you make with it is probably more expensive than the actual
Totally.
fucking
Right.
panko
Well, it used
onion.
to be. I
Yeah.
mean, not these days. Who knows? Probably cost of onions is through the roof in the Philippines.
Though you can still get in the Philippines, I'm sure, but like it at like
Oh, we can get an onion. We got onions.
you
in
can
cups.
get bags
I
of
got a guy.
onions for not so bad, like comparatively, like
Sure.
a bag of onion, a big bag of onions.
can also
and
grow a
big
lot of
bag
onions here, though.
potatoes.
Compared to a fucking pound
Yeah.
of
Because they are
asparagus,
kind of like, they
fucking-
prefer, I think, like
Yeah.
kind of colder shit, don't they?
Yeah.
I don't
Oh
really
yeah,
know,
my
but-
mom grows tons of onions and
Yeah, we got a
garlic and
bunch of them.
shit. Yeah, but she
Yeah, they're a good like winter vegetable, right?
yeah, I think because they're I don't know anything under the ground.
Yeah,
kinda,
something like that. I don't really know how shit works.
But yeah, shout out to these guys. I'm all for it. If anyone wants to gift us a bag of onions, we'll take it.
We'll take it. Yeah, we'll
A sack of onions.
Sack of onions.
absolutely. Any kind of
And
root
if you're,
vegetable or anything that grows in the ground.
Yeah, and if you're getting married soon or might get married in the future, think about giving away produce to your
They don't.
guests.
I mean, yeah. What kind of weddings do like? I like the goodie bag. Like it's
Goodie
like
bag
it's
is
a
fun.
fucking 9-year-old birthday party.
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
I
I've
like
never.
it.
I've
This
never
wedding
given
had
a
hot
gift
dogs
for
with a
going-
side of
Hey,
chips.
if you
Like
have
you get the meal
if
and
you-
the free drinks and stuff.
I
like
was
that. I've
gonna
never
say
given
if
a
you
gift.
have open bar, then
If you don't have
that's-
open bar, you're fucking.
Yeah,
like,
exactly,
what the
then
fuck?
it's fucking
Oh, yeah. No,
ridiculous.
I've been to a couple toonie bars, guys. Step your fucking game up. What the
Yeah, but if you have open bar, obviously that's the gift. But if you, for whatever fucking reason, don't have open bar, then consider
Bag.
making a goodie bag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah. I want a dirt bag open bar. There'd just be like 3 options or whatever. You can have like a shot, no mixed drinks.
No.
Yeah, that's at my great grandma's 100th birthday party. There was open bar, but it was only like wine and beer, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I
makes
got
sense.
fucking shit faced. Oh my, that
On
one of like the
Beer
top
wine.
on
You're the
beer
red
wine.
wine.
At my great grandma's 100th birthday party. Just one of the top 3 most drunk I've ever been in my life.
Nice.
Like messy.
Fucking rules. And a
Yeah.
wine drunk is sick. Do you guys at the,
Oh, yeah, that's
at
that homeless
Holy
drunk.
Chow, this
Yeah.
place that we're doing a show at tonight, they have they didn't have ciders or whatever. I was getting Jackie a drink last week, and we were kind of going through the list of what they have, and so finally she just says, "Get me a wine," and that's why I go up to him and I'm like, "Hey, I'll get a red wine," and he goes, "It's in a can. Is that fine?" And I was like, "It is now," because I've never seen wine in a can before.
That's hilarious. In
Yeah,
a
he
bag,
cracks
sure.
like a little Red Bull sized can or whatever and goes for it. And I didn't tell Jackie
And?
until now.
Oh wow.
It was fine. I mean, like, I'd never drink wine in bars. Like, wine, especially, like, that's usually like a stay at home, drink a bottle of red wine.
Yeah, or like a nice dinner or whatever. if you
Yeah,
go
or
out.
at a fucking, Canna banquet hall
Situation,
soiree,
yeah.
Like, it's gonna get, so never at a show am I fucking walking around with a glass of red wine, but it was fine. I can't taste the difference between wines. It all tastes like wine.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fermented grapes.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
delicious. Lovely.
Yeah. But so we got a sick little album.
Oh,
to get
do we
into.
ever?
Yeah.
Baby. Holy shit, gang. This is Daft Punk's sophomore album, 2001 release, Discovery.
Dad, did you get us to put our dancing shoes on this week?
Oh, I did. I need to put on like some real fucking important dancing shoes. I mean, yeah, this album is huge for me growing up, huge for me, my musical influence kind of way, how I thought about music, everything, and just bands and like what was possible with. I think this made me love a little more on like the dancey like DJ end of things, and seeing that there were DJs out there or like people that weren't thought of as traditional musicians. That they're like, oh no, these guys are fucking straight up musicians. Like this album's unfucking believable.
Yeah. So is Daft Punk two guys?
Two
in the studio
dudes
kind of thing.
Yeah. Toma and Guy or Guy. I don't know how they want to say his name.
G-U-I?
G-U-I. Yeah.
Yeah, I got a friend named Guy.
Yeah. Two dudes from France. Went to school with the same.
Plays guitar and Vice Spider. What's up, Guy?
Went to school with the same guys from Phoenix, the band Phoenix.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so they're like they've all played in band stuff growing together, and then these guys kind of branched out. They had a punk-esque kind of band, and they got a review in one of the whatever local like rock magazines, and they called their band was like Daft Punk, like it was like shitty kind of like Daft Punk.
Yeah.
So they're like, oh, that's dope. So very
That's
Led
rad.
Zeppelin
That's
situation
awesome.
of like you'll sync like a Led Zeppelin, and that's why they picked the name.
That's sick.
So yeah, kind of similar situations. They came out with Homework in '98, which was like I guess it's called like Chicago Club is like the style of club music. I guess is like super like I don't know if you guys remember the Homework. It had like Defunk on it. It had that Spike Jones video with the fucking dog and shit.
Yeah.
So that's their first album. It's a really raw, like the synths in it, like the sounds in it are very like just it's intense. It's very industrial-esque kind of sounding.
Well, it's like electronic music's always interesting to me because as like somebody that loves and lives for subgenres, I don't know anything about any subgenre of like any electronic music or whatever.
Yeah,
so, like,
I'm not
Chicago,
very well versed. Like
or
this is
house
like
music,
they're
anything
definitely
like that.
some of the deepest that I go, and I know it's
Sure.
like they're just kind of the to me like some godfathers of it because like what they've been able to do over the years is phenomenal. They seem to come out with an album every like 4 years is what they think, so they really fucking sit on it. So yeah, Homework was just very like raw and a lot of we're getting really music nerdy here, but we're gonna do it. So like synthesizers have different like waves, like sine waves, right? So or like different kinds of like musical waves kind of thing. So like a sine wave is just like it looks like this. So it's just like up and down, really smooth transitions or with that, and that's like kind of a nice like ooh sound. Like it's just not aggressive on your ears.
Yeah,
with
for
that.
the audio listener, this sound wave was kind of like a smooth
Like
up
an
and down
up and
motion.
down
Like if your
kinda
hand was out the
wave,
car
like
window,
you're-
you'd be doing one. Of
Yeah,
those.
you know when there's
yeah,
like a technical difficulty,
Yeah.
and you just hear like on TV, and like you
Yep.
see all those bars. That is
yeah.
a sine wave. That's like
Okay.
what a sine wave is.
Okay.
But so there's different types of wave that like distort the sound somehow. So sine wave is just nice and like kind of smooth, and it's not like too aggressive on your ears. But there's another thing called like a sawtooth wave, and it really looks like if you were like to draw like a wave kind of going up and then like a staircase going down. So instead of it just being smooth, it's like
Yeah.
and like that's like a real like like it's just a really aggressive sound on your fucking ear, and that is basically all of Homework, their first album.
Right.
Cool.
Now Discovery is like a completely different, and it's like a sine wave kind of album. I feel like it's a
Okay.
lot smoother, and their use of sampling in this album is absolutely insane. There's like all sorts of shit. There's Barry Manilow samples out. They take like the littlest snippets of songs and just completely switch it up. It's a
Sampled,
lot.
Kanye West on this as well.
How dare you, sir?
Just fucking
How dare you.
What year did this album come out again?
2001.
Okay, because I remember, when like Stronger came out in, I think it was 07 or 08. That was when almost like Daft Punk kind of, at least where I was going to school, became like kind of everyone started delving into them because they're like, oh, well, if you like this, someone was like, oh, if you like this song, this is where it actually comes from or whatever. And so I remember kind of getting into them. Never did like a deep dive on them or anything like that. But this kind of albums, especially, I remember listening to in like middle school.
This was a more like
Stronger
accessible
came out.
album. I feel like Homework was like it's still commercially a lot of success.
The dog on the bus or whatever. That video is iconic for sure.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
I think with that, even like Fatboy Slim or you know what I mean, Christopher Walken dancing through any of that kind of music, or even the first track off this album with the blue pea. Like I remember all those music videos and stuff like that, but I didn't know anybody even remotely interested enough in this kind of music to tell me that the sample from that Kanye West song or whatever was from this originally or anything like that. I was completely in the dark from any of this stuff.
Yeah, and there's just so many, like, there's not a ton of, like, I mean, there's live instruments on this, but there's a lot of sampling, and it's really crazy because it feels like a very, like, live instrumentation album. Which they do way later on with their last album. What was this one? With Random Access Memories. Doo-doo. Okay, friends. This is also the first album that they've, like, established the helmets.
Oh, okay.
Before this was, like, not really. They had, like, an interview that they put some helmets on. They're like, oh, that's kind of cool. They're just weird in French.
Yeah.
Okay.
That tracks.
But also, it's something in like electronic music or whatever to, like, set yourself apart or to make, like, I don't know. It's the person making it almost has to be like a larger than life kind of persona or whatever.
I think it has to do with dance music in general. I feel like George Clinton and Parliament were the first people to do that. I have, and I've said this several times on this podcast, I have an obsession with aliens that have come down to Earth to make humans dance. And this is no exception. This entire album is visualized that way. Though they teamed up. I don't remember all the music videos from this album, but it was like blue people, like a blue band kind of thing. Really kind of shiny, like anime looking, very like
90s X-Men kind of color.
Totally. With kind of that like soap opera fog around, you know? So Matsumoto is like a really famous anime guy. I don't know a whole ton about anime, but I guess they were big fans.
Akira is like the only one.
They were big fans of this particular director growing up, and they got him to just make a full-length animated movie that is just, there's no speaking in it whatsoever other than just the music of this whole album. So it's just this whole album discovery, and it's about an intergalactic band that's like this famous, like super awesome positive dance band that gets kidnapped by this evil record producer on Earth, and he brings them down to Earth, and he like spray paints them like Earth colors, like people, and like changes all their clothes and all this stuff, and like tells them to play this certain music, and it's like they get all like hella depressed and forget who they are and all this stuff, and it's like it takes people from their home planet to come down and save them. It is an unfucking believable movie. Like visually, it's incredible.
Was it released as like a CD DVD thing, or was this like?
It was, but I didn't really. To be honest with you, I really didn't know that it was like a full length thing until like way later. I just thought it was the music video.
Yeah,
I was like, okay,
that one more time, like that was all I thought. It was fucking another hour of that.
It is this cool homage to like this rock opera kind of vibe as well, where there's this whole story throughout this whole thing, because I definitely identify now with all with every song that I hear. I'm like, oh yeah, that's like this part of the movie or whatever. It's phenomenal. It's a really, really good movie. It's called Interstellar 5555, or the story of the secret star system. So each one of those S words are spelt with a 5.
Okay. Okay. Hell yeah.
I see. Cool.
I like it anytime that like music is music, and it's so like it'll stand the test of time just on its own, which I think is like so goddamn cool. Like a Joker or whatever, like anything, even like visual art or whatever will kind of like will be boring over time or whatever, but I can still listen to, you know what I mean, any music will still stick with me or whatever. But when it becomes something bigger, you know what I mean, when you can put something like, you know, accompanying, you know, it or whatever. And I think like so I love skate videos and stuff like that or whatever so much, you know what I mean, when there's some kind of thing that you can add to it that is gonna, you know, like enhance that experience like so much. I think that's so fucking cool.
Yeah, and I think it shows
nothing that I like has ever done that.
Well, yeah, and it is like a different part of your brain, right? Like, and it's cool when like musical artists kind of show that side of their creative brain, you know, when they put something like visual to an album as well. I mean, Kanye West did it in the first Dino album we were gonna do with Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. He did it with Runaway. And
really long song where they're like all at dinner
and semi-recently, Beyonce did it with Lemonade, which was like a whole fucking you know thing released.
Yeah, the Who's Tommy, like it goes back. Like, totally.
Exactly. Like and I think it's cool, especially when you like experience the music that way. And so it's almost like when you hear the song, you like think about how they like represented it visually or whatever.
Yeah, you're experiencing it on such a different level, and I mean the video had such a huge impact for that, right? I mean, think about how many videos, and I'm like, oh, even videos that weren't that great,
absolutely,
give it away. It's like, it's
Yeah.
a really cool video, but it's like really they're just spray painted silver in a desert, and it's like filmed at a weird frame rate, and that's it. But I'm like, fuck, that video rules, dude.
There's sometimes like simplicity, like fucking can make it or whatever. There's a Pennywise song for Same Old Story that is not even a notable professional skateboarder. I can't even remember who the guy is, but he's just like ripping through a neighborhood, just, you know what I mean? And there's a little bit of, right at the beginning, there's like a problem with his dad, and then he's kind of like, kind of going through, he goes into a record shop and sees like a parental advisory sticker on a Black Flag record, and he's like, fucking everything sucks or whatever.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Eventually he finds his buddies, and they find a backyard pool, and then somebody kicks him out of it, but you can just tell like this whole thing or whatever, making it to like the practice space where the band is or whatever.
There's
But
also
it's
this
something
crazy
so
connection
simple.
between music videos and
it's
skate
great.
videos with Spike Jonze, right?
Yeah,
Like he's just like
huge.
It's crazy to think about how that has crossed over to see guys like that, because he's like won an Oscar and shit now.
Yeah.
And you're like, what? Like, this dude made skate videos for us back
Absolutely,
in
or
the
even
day.
like Atiba, one of the those one of the most sought after professional photographers.
He
there is,
he
right?
did Aziz Ansari's last special that he
right.
did in New York. It was really cool the way he did it too. Like he had Aziz, like they had the standard shots, but then Spike was on stage with a handheld camera, kind of filming him from like behind and shit, and like moving with him too. It was really cool.
And the Beastie Boys actually just had him. Do
Yeah, ton of shit, ton of stuff. Yeah.
With their the release of their kind of anthology story of the Beastie Boys kind of book or whatever. There's a cool live performance where they kind of got to like just break down the history of it and kind of tell stories and stuff like that. And the movie is done. It would be cool to be at that event, because obviously you're watching the live show happen with all of the like accompanying video and stuff that he's showing you. But then obviously Spike takes all that and then makes that event the movie. You know what I mean? It's incredible, right? Like the amount of cool shit that guy's done.
I don't know why I associate, like, to kind of bring it all back. I do associate Daft Punk to being a similar sort of like Spike Jonze-esque kind of characters of like having a finger on the pulse of like what is happening, what the cool shit is. Like even some videos for like Revolution 909 is like, do you remember that one from homework? And like the music video is like the tomato. It's like the tomato stain. So do you remember this? They're at like a house party they're at a house party and but just the way the house party shots, like everyone's been in that style of this 2000s, late 90s kind of vibe. Like, oh, it was fucking amazing. But it's like this woman, like she's eating something at this party, and it's like this little like tomato sauce like drops on her fucking thing, and the whole video is just about how the tomato sauce got there, and it traces all the way back to where the tomatoes like made in the field. It's
That's
fucking
awesome.
so sick.
Sick.
It's so dope.
I've never seen that.
It's
That's
so dope.
awesome.
Yeah, and like 909 is like the TR 909 drum machine is like this
sick.
epic drum machine that's used. So like they were like on point with all that stuff, and they've always done a great job to pay homage to anyone who came before them and like doing that kind of stuff, which I feel like Spike Jonze shit does as well.
Totally.
To kind of try to rep that together. Yeah, that's what I try
think
to
it's
do there.
like I think it's really important. I think it shows like a serious like lack of ego or whatever. Like when somebody comes on the scene and they're like, "I'm so cool, check out the fucking way that I do it" or whatever, rather than being like, "No, this is like accumulation." What's the fucking word that I'm looking for? Accumulating all of the influences that you have.
Accumulation.
Accumulation. I don't fucking know.
Spread your legs
Accumulation.
and work.
I'm trying to spread them and
your
work.
legs
guys.
and work, baby. Well, they're like,
Going so good.
this is
I
how
don't even know
intense.
half the words that I use.
This is how intense they are about this. Is when they were recording Random Access Memories, which is their last album that they recorded, because they're done now. They've broken up, which is it's like really heartbreaking for me.
Yeah.
Oh my god, have you seen the video? It's like
No.
they made it. It's I cried. It's like. They're like, they're always driving in a sweet ass like fucking car or whatever like that. So they're like just driving into the desert, and then they both get out, and then they like meet each other, and then like one just clicks like the self detonate button on the back of them and walks away, and then he blows up, and it's like the saddest fucking thing. It's like it's super emotional, and like the music in it is like a combo of a bunch of their shit, kind of like a Beatles love situation.
Okay.
Oh man, it's so good.
I want to check that out.
Yeah,
That's
we'll do that immediately after
Hell
this.
yeah.
It's super
Hell
good. So what they did in that album is like they got Giorgio Moroder on it. He produced a bunch of really good popular synth songs. So like Donna Summers, I Feel Love, a shit ton of stuff. So they get him to speak on it when Giorgio by Moroder is the name of the song, and it's like pays homage to just basically what he was able to do with the synthesizer and sync it up to a Moog modular, which has like an arpeggiated sound on it. So that's how you get like the like that kind of shit, just repeatedly instead of having to like go like this. You just hold it down and it does it for you. And you can set how many octaves it does it, and it's like fucking revolutionary as far as like synthesizers are.
Yeah.
So anyways, he's discussing in the beginning of the song, he's talking about how he wanted to make a song or make an album with the sounds of the 50s and the sounds of the 60s and the 70s, and also have a sound of the future. And that, he's like, well, what is the sound of the future? Because he put in all these other things that had all those decades. He's like, the synthesizer. Mind you, this is like in the 70s. So he's like, that is the sound of the future. So that's how he created this synthesized modulate sound with arpeggiation. When they recorded it for the Daft Punk album, when he goes, the sounds of the 50s, the sounds of the 60s, the sounds of the 70s, Thomas, who's one of Daft Punk, got the audio technician to set up a microphone from the 50s, from the 60s, from the 70s, from the 80s, from that, and like going up. Yeah. And Giorgio goes and sits down to record this, and he's like, what are all these, like, there's a lot of mics here for me talking. Like, what the fuck? And he's like, oh, yeah, Thomas wanted fucking this and that. And he's like, no one would possibly hear the difference to that. And he's like, and the engineer's like, oh, Thomas would. He's like, that guy would definitely notice. And he'd be the only one that noticed, but like, it's how important it is to him. Yeah. Which is correct. So that's like the extent that these guys go to.
That's insane. So was he doing it like from like in like half of the...
I think he blended them all in, but he might have even done like down to the 50s and like maybe that kicked in. I don't know how it was mixed necessarily, but yeah.
Very cool.
That's cool, yeah.
That's insane. Just the amount of like work that goes into it, right? I think that there's this... not necessarily like the it's never been like the argument or whatever, but I think something that since we've started to come on the show and we talk about it is that the heart versus like the skill or whatever, right? And I think that there's like a really serious blend of skill and heart with this, right? There's a lot of
unbelievable how talented these guys are. Like they all play piano, and like they do all that shit, and they sing on it, and they're big on the vocals and all that stuff. But fucking
right, like I think I always like I like a sense of urgency like in a punk rocker because we need to get something out this year so we can tour kind of or whatever, right? So there always is like there, and it doesn't. I don't get that feeling here, right? They can let something breathe and to the point where
it's like 4 years in between albums. Basically.
Yeah, exactly, right? To the point where I was listening to it this morning and I knew that like this music I'm not gonna be shitty about it. You know what I mean, right? But there was a point where I was like, okay, there's a reason that Ty's getting me to listen to this, right? There's something that he like that he sees in this or whatever, right? So even though that it's not lyrically driven, which definitely keeps me
not at all. It's a robot singing for most of the album,
right? So I was sitting here like
a French robot.
All right, Ty. Like I mean, I've grown a lot in 100 episodes. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like we could definitely do this, but I know there's something here. I think definitely for everybody, but there's something to kind of respect about the fact that there's like a level of like mastery, to the equipment that you're using, and like a serious level of love that goes in there that spawned. You know what I mean? These guys. With their helmets on and shit like that, are now fucking, you got Dead Mouse running around and stuff like that, kind of probably, and like that Mushroom Head or whatever, like all these guys or whatever that are taking, you know what I mean, serious, I don't know, pages out of the book or whatever, but I don't know, hopefully paying homage and doing it the right way or whatever, because there's two guys from fucking France or whatever that are just weird enough to be like, no, let's sit on this for 4 years and drop like the best album of all time.
It was such a good departure from the first two of just like, this pays such good homage to R&B and like disco especially. It's a very like disco album. I love disco, dude. It's like a lot of it gets shit on, but I'm like musically it's like the best. It's literally like the jazz musicians just went over it and played disco music. Like
you just can't not be happy listening to disco.
Yeah, dude. It's super fucking good. Yeah. But even like the sad songs on it's like Something About Us is a song, and it's like it's like when one of the characters is almost dying in the movie, so it is kind of the sad song, but it's like it's lyrically not the craziest song, but it's fucking, man, it hits hard, dude. It's so good. The bass in it is so good. The name of the band, by the way, in the movie is Crescendos,
That's awesome.
which is so fucking sick.
That's great. Yeah.
And then the song Crescendos on the album is the whole song is just a crescendo. It's just like this constant fucking build up, and it's it's fucking lit, dude.
I was laughing at the end of this album too. I was like listening to it while I was getting ready, and then because I was on Spotify, and I was like, oh shit, I probably missed like the end of the song or whatever. It's probably moved on to something else. Then I looked at my phone, and it's like a fucking 10-minute long song or whatever, and it's called Too Long.
Yeah.
Too long.
Yeah.
Even one more time, you're like, it should be called 78 more times.
Yeah, totally.
But they have there's a lyric from Apathy, is one of my favorite rappers or whatever, that instead of dropping classics and making sure shit bumps, you drop a bullshit mixtape every 6 months. So that's like, I love this, like the idea of people that can you know what I mean, that are confident in their ability enough, or maybe not going broke or whatever. So like, shout out to, you know, whatever.
You bring out a very interesting point, actually, because I've never really thought about it like that. But
that's really cool that they can do that.
I think that has influenced how I create art. Just like maybe not on purpose or anything like that, but like I am definitely like, I sit on shit.
Sure.
Sometimes definitely, admittedly, it's a little too long.
Yeah, definitely. If you
especially when music and shit like that, where it's like, and I had friends that like that, like they would just pump out stuff, and I'll be honest with you, like sometimes I didn't think it was like worth putting out.
Yeah.
But I was involved with it sometimes. It's like, oh man, this isn't done yet. Like, let's fucking, we got to sit on this. So it's interesting. I wonder if that like.
Well, I think about it the same way that I do comedy, because I have shit that I should still be working on, or stuff that I could still be polishing or whatever right now. There's just a sense of urgency in the things that that I've written recently or whatever. I just kind of want to talk about or whatever, right? So I think that like I definitely like I'm kind of pumping shit out faster than I kind of should.
Yeah,
be
it's always a great debate.
Like the like cultural climate we're in now kind of necessitates that urgency. Like especially like where we are just trying to get like our names out there and trying to, you know, build our own audience and shit. You have to put shit out like every fucking week at least.
Yeah.
You know, they really like want it out fucking every day almost, but that would be impossible. But yeah, and so it kind of forces you to put shit out, even if normally you'd be like, oh, like, you know, I'd like to get a better take of that bit, or, you know, I'd want to work on that a bit more. But yeah, I think because I am definitely like a perfectionist as well, but I think just because of the way that things are now, it's kind of like forced me to be like, I don't know. I don't really think too much about burning material anymore, because I'm like, what? No one knows who I am.
Yeah,
like, it doesn't fucking matter. It's not like I have a special on Netflix.
Yeah, I'd like somebody to find out from the material.
Yeah, exactly. Why wouldn't I be putting my best shit online and shit? But it does kind of the place that we're in now, and just like the society we live in. If you're an artist that's kind of doing shit independently, it does force you to work with a sense of.
Can you imagine waiting 4 years nowadays in between doing something? Like you'd be like, who?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like literally, like you didn't exist.
Fucking, if you look at,
the only one that can do
if you look at fucking Bert Kreischer and you know, say if you like his comedy or not, you can't deny that he's probably makes some of the most money in comedy today, because he's constantly on tour. He's constantly like, he'll write a new hour while he's touring his current hour kind of thing. And you know, it is that sense of urgency, that need to like always put out something that is rewarded, and you know, in this world.
Well, yeah, and I think that you're also like with comedy, or with his brand. I mean, people, you know what to expect there, and they kind of want you know what I mean, him to come and do that. I think if you're everybody has their idea of like where to draw their own line as far as like, you know, artistic integrity and all that stuff or whatever. So if somebody could feel like it's done, you know what I mean, you know, quick enough, and still like bring a party and a spectacle or whatever of like a bus full of your favorite comedians as well. You know what I mean? There's a different way to do things or whatever, right? But I think I have a lot of respect for people that have the balls to sit on something long enough and go, no, this is perfect, and this is when it, you know, comes out or whatever. But anybody, I don't know, I just have respect for anybody making shit, right?
Yeah.
So
there is also like a position,
whatever way you choose to do it. Right?
Yeah, there is a position of almost like where I mean, you're in a position where you're privileged to be able to do that, to like sit on shit that you know, I'm sure we would all love to get to one day where we can sit on shit. But yeah, I think just in the world that we run in, there is like a forced
Yeah, you can't sit on shit. You got to flush it.
Yeah, exactly. But then that being said, that also can like get you to, come up with things that you wouldn't normally. If there's this thing in your head, it's like, well, I have to fucking have something to put out next week. Or
I think it's a good like drive
podcast.
forward.
Yeah, exactly. I'm thinking of something.
Because there is like the risk of you sit on shit.
Yeah,
I've got an EP I've been sitting on for way too fucking long because I
there's
don't have to release it because like no one really knows like I don't have comedy like music shit that's just like I don't have that much material, John.
Hey, 25 minutes you're hiding from us.
Hey, you saw me do fucking 20 at the old Admiral the other night.
Oh, if they were into it, you would have been more excited about it.
Yeah, no, there was nothing wrong with your set. It was just our fucking shitty show. It's just our shitty fucking show.
Please come to the Admiral if you're in Burnaby, my God.
Hey, whoa. Do go to the Admiral. Do go to Mariner.
Yes.
But I tell you where these people ought to go.
Oh,
are we wrapping this up? Are we landing this plane?
Let's wrap it up. Yeah,
we're landing this plane.
Wrap it up.
Let's
Okay, go listen to this album because it's unbelievable. It's probably my favorite. It's tough to say, but yeah, probably my favorite Daft Punk album. I feel like sophomore albums are always fantastic.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
AT Aliens. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely. You get the opportunity to spread your spread
Godfather
spread
2.
your legs.
Spread your legs to work, baby.
Spread
your legs. And this. If you don't spread your legs while listening to this album, I do not know what your problem is. But you need to work. Tell you where you can catch us, gang, at the newly open old bar, the Cobalt, ladies and gentlemen. February 26th.
That sounds right.
Yeah, that sounds right. The first Show Me Yours show will be happening. Show Me Yours presents Cobalt Comedy, and we got a bagger of a lineup. We got Kevin Von Almagood, friend of the podcast.
Hell yes.
Friend of the pod.
His episode will be out sometime.
It's speaking about spread your legs and work.
Yeah.
The man who helped coin this phrase for us and made you feel not so ashamed about
Absolutely.
your life.
That guy's fucking rules.
Mr.
Man.
Steve Lance will be headlining.
Hell yes.
That show.
Crowd favorite. Crowd favorite.
Yeah.
Very excited.
She's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
It looks like the whitest show, but I promise you it's diverse.
Hey, we got gays, we got cripples, we got a lady. The only thing we don't have is anyone who's not white.
The only thing we don't have are spots on those non-white shows either, too. So what are you going to do? We're trying to get it how we live. Jesus.
No, come check it out. Tickets are $20, and seats are limited. So the link will be below. And
hell yeah. Very excited to get
Fuck
see you
yeah.
there. All
Gang,
right.
gang.
Love you.
Peace.